My lips are now sealed.
But now that we're live, and this is a special pre-show bit, Holly, did you watch the coronation? Did you get
I
subjugated?
did see some of it.
Oh, God.
I made a lot of sarcastic comments.
I didn't watch it, but my
No.
housemate wanted to watch the procession and everything, but I went and watched. I can't remember if I was watching a Finnish or a Norwegian thing on Netflix or SBS on demand. I don't know, but I did manage to see Prince William. Hello to Facebook jumping in. We'll be starting properly soon.
I'm about to share it too.
Really need to get you to set up this thing where you can stream to your things, Holly.
Yeah, I do.
Because
I need to get organised.
maybe have you got a heart out today or not? Because
Yeah.
maybe when we finish up, we could
Always, man.
set it up. All you need
Yes,
to
I
do
do.
is you just need to do your own account with StreamYard.
That's
So
right. You did
get
tell
the
me.
get the
I have
free
to
account, and then you just add your destinations, and they'll show up
Cool.
in here. So they'll go to my destinations and yours as well. So
All right.
be cool.
I will get
Cool,
organised.
But how about Prince William? He said about 30 words, and he needed a cheat card in his hand so that he.
Oh, really? I
remembered-
didn't see that bit.
Yeah. So-
Oh, as in the bit where he knelt.
No. When
I know.
when he afterwards.
he had to do a speech or something, didn't he? I didn't see.
Yeah,
that.
he did one afterwards, I think. So
Okay.
I just saw it
missed
on the
that.
news. Before we go live too, Holly, I have a new First Seen and Heard fan friend on Instagram,
Lovely.
David. He's travelling with his family,
Yeah.
and they're heading. They live in they live on the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria, but they're currently heading north. But then they'll be turning around and coming back down south. So have a think about good birding spots in your region. I've already told him that he needs to catch up with Ricky for Royal National Park.
Yep.
I'm going to try and put him in touch with Leo for Merimbula.
Yep.
But where else? He's going to Green Cape. Do you know anyone at Green Cape?
No.
Okay. I'm figuring
I would go
Leo's the
Barren
best guy
Grounds.
to... Barren Ground?
Barren Grounds is lovely.
Yeah.
Might see a ground parrot.
Okay.
Might
So
see a
we'll talk...
bristlebird.
We'll talk about that. Eastern bristlebird and ground parrot are his sort of his targets there.
Well, that's where he needs to go.
So yeah. So cool. All right, let's. Are we on time? Yeah, we're on time. So let's get this. Which video will we do to start us off? I don't know where my penguin one's gone. We'll just get this one
Very
going.
urban.
G'day, bird nerds. Welcome back. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. That there. I shouldn't say that because Dr. Holly's not a that. Dr. Holly's a doctor, an ornithologist.
Apparently.
Holly's the Urban Birds Program Manager at Birdlife Australia, and Holly joins me fortnightly, roughly, for Monday with Holly. So it's Monday. That's Holly. It's Monday with Holly. How are you?
Morning. Oh, afternoon now. We've ticked over. Afternoon, Grant.
How good's this cold weather been?
Freezing.
Yeah,
It's been nice. There's been some snow relatively close to my place. About 30 minutes away. So that was very early. But yeah, very nice. It's been very chilly this weekend.
So has the cold weather brought you any interesting birds in the last couple of days, Holly?
Not that I've noticed.
No.
No.
Do you get the currawongs coming down from the
Yes, my
from the
currawongs have
highlands?
been around for a while.
Yep.
They were in my yard last week, devouring some lily pilly fruit. Um, they're usually in the neighbourhood. I don't usually see them literally within my garden. So um, now that the lily pillies are fruiting, they were having a lovely time.
So are they syzygium lily pillies or
Mhm.
acmena lily pillies?
They're syzygium lily pillies. Yeah,
Very, very cool. So white berries or red berries?
red. Yeah,
Very cool. So
yeah.
I hope they're a long way from your washing line, Holly.
Yes, they are. Very, very much so.
Very, very
I
much.
did think about where I planted them for sure.
Okay, now we're going to do a bit of a mishmash show today because there's a few things we want to talk about. Let's. I'm going to talk about my forthcoming adventure that people are probably sick of me talking about. I'm also going to introduce a new participant in First Seen and Heard because somebody's taken my lead. Not only are they posting their First Seen and Heard in text-based form, but they're doing little videos on their own Instagram, which I think's super cool. So we'll play that. Hello, David and family, if you are watching. Where he currently is, he may have sketchy coverage. So I don't know if you're watching live. If you are, David, jump into the comments and introduce you. We'll introduce you to everyone. For those of you who are here live, get in the comments and tell me where you are and tell me your first seen and heard. That's the rule for this morning. What did you see this morning? Holly, did you see the interesting first seen and heard that was posted to Twitter this morning?
No, I haven't been on Twitter this morning, I don't think.
Oh,
What did we see?
Professor Bronwyn Fredericks, hello
Yes.
Bronwyn, has just landed in Vancouver. And in the Vancouver
Oh,
airport, they have these two huge totem poles with eagles, carved eagles atop them. So Bronwyn's first seen and heard this morning was carved eagles in Vancouver.
nice.
And look, Holly. Hello,
Yes.
David. David, I saw your video on Instagram for your first seen and heard yesterday. Fill us in. What was your first seen and heard today? And we'll pop those up. Let's see who's. David's given us a bit of a Facebook like too. That's good. I'd like to say hello. I'm guessing Naomi's probably online. Hello, and I don't know who else. Maybe Stan. Stan, if you're online, first seen and heard for Kangaroo Island, please. But, we got some Facebook love too. And that, thanks, Naomi. Good on you for being here. Naomi, your first seen and heard too, please. Holly, let's talk about what's going on in I was going to say your closet in Birdlife, but I think it's more like a big desk drawer, or it's probably a big folio drawer. You know, like those big folio cabinets where you put all the plans.
Yep.
What's going on in the Urban Birds folio drawer at the BirdLife Australia office?
Yeah, moths just flew out as we opened it up. Look, there's a lot of things happening outwards, but there's a lot behind the scenes going on, a lot of strategy work and things, which is always
let me interrupt you.
important. Yes,
Let me interrupt you. I know that you were about this time last year looking for someone to do social media and comms.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, I got to say, whoever it is doing a fantastic job. Leveled up a million times. They're helping you in the birds in backyard stuff, aren't they?
So it's myself and Annie, my Urban Bird Program coordinator. We put our heads together and just did a 30 days of posting in April.
The birds in backyard stuff has been fantastic, I've got to say. So good on you.
That's largely down to Annie, so I'll give her big credits for that. It was it's a mammoth task. I don't think people realise how challenging social media can be to pump out content.
Especially to do it on time when you want to do it. Because I've been planning all this other stuff for the the trip I'm about to do and going out and buying stuff that I didn't have, and it takes forever comparing prices and everything. I'm doing at the moment one first seen and heard that goes out to everywhere instead of doing all the different ones I was doing, because that was taking me nearly 3 hours every day. So good on you, Annie. Yeah. I've certainly noticed the birds in backyard stuff has really leveled up. So
great, that's great. We're certainly not going to be doing every day. We're going to sort of aim for a couple of days a week now, just because it's really time consuming, and both of us actually. I'll speak for Annie. Really enjoy doing it. It's a lot of work, and but it's really important, and it's been really fun. And that 30-day challenge we set ourselves, we're very glad we did, and we've got some really great feedback. So thanks, Grant. It's great.
Now, tell me, have the analytics showed that people are picking it up? Because I've got a funny feeling that your birds in backyard stuff on YouTube would have been pretty dead, and that I reckon this will really kick it up if you're doing lots of shorts. So
we didn't do a huge amount of video in the 30 days. We did a couple of them, but there was sort of some uploading with some challenges with which we don't need to go into. But certainly across the board, our reach has grown quite a bit. We've welcomed a whole heap of new people on board, following, whether it's in the Facebook group or on Instagram or on Twitter. So that's been really great to see. And we want to incorporate some more video because it's always really engaging. People love seeing birds, and they love seeing birds when they're moving around. And so we're really, really grateful that we have an amazing volunteer, Darren, and his wife Talia, who do a whole heap of video for us on the BBTV YouTube channel. So sharing that out a lot more will be a priority.
Fantastic. Now, we just had Naomi's first seen and heard, her brown cuckoo doves, and first heard yellow-faced honeyeater.
Ooh,
and
lovely.
David, who we referenced earlier, is at Bunjalong National Park, north of Yamba. Oh, Yamba's pretty nice. I like Yamba. Noisy Firebird, first heard, almost unmistakable, and first seen Australian brush turkey. That's good. That's nice.
Really nice.
Well, let's jump into this one while we're talking about David and we're talking about first seen and heard. I'm going to just. I did ask David if we could do this, and he said yes. So let's meet David. Are we on the screen? Let's add him. Let's full screen it. Here we go. Meet David.
Here we are on Benignaba country, New South Wales. First seen this morning. Curlew. Bushstone curlew, and first heard is the rainbow lorikeet. Birds. Here we are on Benignaba country, New South Wales. First seen this morning. Curlew. Bushstone curlew, and first heard is the rainbow lorikeet.
Now there we go. Now David, I've got to unshare. Come on, stop. What's going on? There we go. There we go. It's taking up all my resources, Holly. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Am I unfrozen again?
No, you're all good.
Good. David, just have to let you know, you need to press the record button and wait a little bit because we heard nerds. We didn't get your hello bird nerds, but almost there. So that's really cool. I'm so happy that someone else is putting their mug on their first seen and heards. While I'm away, I'll try and spend some downtime, if I have any, working on how I can easily aggregate all the first seen and heards from all the platforms onto one web page. And then I want to embed that web page, if I can, into the new project, which is going to be my daily audio or video or text diary while I'm away, which is going to be on Substack. So I'll promote more of that as the week comes along. But I want to do something every day to talk about what I'm seeing, whether it's gardens, whether it's street plantings, whether it's cool birds. So yeah, and hopefully I'll get to talk to Millie most days where we can do something. Yeah. So it should be. I mean, I'll be talking to Millie every day. I'm pretty sure of that. Whether or not we're talking on camera will be publicly will be another thing. Okay, we've talked about one of the your projects, Holly, which was getting everything going.
What else is going on?
I totally interrupted you and went off on a tangent. What a surprise!
That's okay. So we're doing another gang course at the moment. So that's open, and we have a couple of hundred people going through that at the moment, learning about gang cockatoos, hopefully seeing some gang cockatoos and sending us through those sightings and doing some action planning. So putting some trees in the ground, doing some advocacy, working out how they can help gang cockatoos in their local area. And so we're just, I think we've got about another month of that course being open in its current round, and then we'll kick off again in August with a new batch of people joining in.
Okay, let me ask the questions for people who might be interested to get involved in August. What does somebody, what characteristics do they need to have to be involved in the gangs? And is it? It's not just gangs for schools project, is it?
This is specifically for general public. So anybody who's interested in gang cockatoos. Ideally, we like you to be within the gang cockatoo distribution.
So Adelaide is good.
Apparently.
Yeah. Did you look that up by any chance?
Did I? I can't remember. Maybe I did.
I don't know.
I don't think I did. I probably meant to and didn't.
Yeah.
Honestly. So ideally within the region of where you might see gang cockatoos, because we like people to take an action to help them at the end of the course. But, if you're anywhere, if you're in WA and you want to learn about gangs, you're more than welcome to join us and learn about them through the process too.
Cool.
So if you want to, the best place to keep an eye on is the Birdlife Australia events webpage. When we're about to open up the course, it will be advertised on there. Or if you are getting our urban birds or birds in backyards emails every couple of months, we will be advertising it through there as well.
And we'll probably squawk and screech about it too.
Yeah,
on a Monday.
I'll be talking about it a heap. Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very, very cool. How's the Powerful Owls project going, Holly?
Super busy. It's nesting time. So it's a lot of coordinating of volunteers for both our project offices in Southeast Queensland and in Greater Sydney. So owls are going into hollows at the moment in both locations. That may ramp up this week because it's turned quite cold. And so, really, really sensitive time for the owls. Really important time for us to have boots on the ground, very carefully looking for who's starting to nest this season. Winding up some grants, kicking some other grants off. It's all happening, as it always is with Powerful Owl. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is and what part of the breeding season's underway, there is always something to be done on the species. So it's really great.
On behalf of grants, please don't kick grants. Okay.
No, grants are important. Grants are critical. Grants require a lot of work.
That's right.
Very important.
That's right. We're very high maintenance, so no kicking us, please. For those people who have just joined in the last little while, be a devil. Pop in the comments your first seen and heard for this morning, please. We want to make sure you're paying attention when you get up and you're out walking around. This morning, Holly, I had a very upset little raven. I heard the magpie early this morning. Yep. But when I went out, breaking the rain and a bit of sunshine, and I went out, the first bird that I heard once I'd walked out was this little raven who was really upset. And there was a magpie sitting close by, and of course the raven was just then flew off and landed in the very top of another tree, which is not that usual. They usually come into sort of the middle of the tree. So right up the top, very, very, very upset. And I think we talked once before too. The other thing I saw, which was unusual the other day, and I did comment, can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but twice as many magpies as normal in the park. But today there's only the normal 4. So I really need to ask someone who's a magpie expert, is this normal that they come together and they nick off? I don't think I told you this too the other day. I saw a flock of about between 70 and 80. I couldn't get the accuracy better than about 70. Little ravens flocking a few miles from home. So,
wow.
Yeah. And the galahs are starting to show up here in flocks rather than pairs. So I guess they're all going to hang out for the winter before they go off and find a lover or shack up somewhere at the Hollow Hotel. Fiona, thank you. What did you see? A red wattlebird first heard.
A very annoyed red wattlebird.
Tell us the story. What was your first scene as well? The more I see the red wattlebirds close up, Holly, they are so cool.
They're wild. Yeah.
I was watching one foraging on the ground yesterday and looking at how far their hop is. They do a short hop and they do a long hop, and their long hop is almost the length of their body.
Wow.
I mean, for people to jump the length of their body, we need a 10-metre run-up.
Yeah, that's not a standing start by any stretch. No.
Phenomenal. And their short hop is about half of their body length. They're amazing. And even though they don't look spectacular, the complexity of the edging, the white edging, and their little star sort of tips or diamond tips on their foliage, on their plumage is just astounding. The more I see them, the more I like them.
I think you find that with any bird, Grant. Honestly, if you get the opportunity to really hone in, there are always amazing details. So even I think Naomi with sort of brown cuckoo doves. For anybody casually walking past, they're brown pigeons. Like, you would think that that's not particularly exciting, but there's so much gradation in the colour of the brown. It's really warm in places and quite cool in others. They've got the lovely little sort of lilac-y coloured ring around their eyes, like beautiful. I think their eyes almost like a blue colour, I think, off the top of my head. Even taking the time to look at the drab can show some really interesting things. And yeah, red wattlebirds are groovy looking birds. I mean, they've got bits hanging from their faces, like.
Yeah. but
they're not red wattlebird level, weird looking, but they're certainly on there.
You mean yellow wattlebird? They're not the yellow wattlebirds are the Dame Edna Everage of wattlebirds, aren't they? Really, but
they're certainly extravagant. The red wattlebirds, though, they've got a bit of interest there. Nice yellow tummy, like they're groovy looking birds for sure.
Yeah. I think they've displaced for me the little wattlebird in my favourite wattlebird school. But I love that little wattlebird call when they get going. Janice, thank you for your first heard, Tarosian Crow, and first seen, Australian Magpie. And Martin, top knot pigeons. Very, very cool. I was just about to mention, and Martin, this was before your comment came up, one of my birds that I want to see on the trip with Millie is the top knot, because it's always escaped me.
Oh really?
Martin,
occasionally they come down to Wollongong, and I see a few. They're cool. That's nice.
Yeah, top knots are one of those birds where quite often I'll be talking to someone and they'll go, "Oh yeah, you should have been here last week." Yeah, should have been here last week. We had a bunch of them just here. Martin,
Actually,
also,
sorry.
sorry, no, go Holly, go Holly.
I was just going to say, because I think we're on pigeons now. I actually had a day last week where I was seeing white-headed pigeons everywhere. Not intentionally birding, just heading out and saw a whole heap hanging around some power lines and some sort of dense veg. And then I was down at sort of the local shops and managed to see a couple through the air. It was white-headed pigeon day for me, and I haven't seen them since. It was just sort of one day they were out and about, following me around my day-to-day business. It was a very interesting day.
Oh, they were lost on their migration, and they were going, "Oh, follow her, she's Birdo, follow the Birdo." So, now, are they a bird that you regularly see in the Illawarra?
Seasonally, yes. Seasonally, I see them. I think they sort of come down from sort of the escarpment, and are a bit more visible. It struck me, though, as a bit unusual. It's not my usual spotting of them, and it's not my usual time of year of seeing them. So, yeah, it was enough for me to go, that's a bit odd, but very appreciated.
Well, Naomi's in the
There you go, Naomi.
in the Sydney
Cool.
region, so she's seeing white-headed pigeons as well. Now, Martin, in his observation, also not sure if they migrate. I think they probably follow the fruit, like nearly all of these fruit-eating pigeons. But
Yeah, I think they do some at least partial migration. I'm sure.
yeah,
Need to look that up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you hear reports of them turning up in areas, so I'm sure they follow the fruit. I wonder whether now Melbourne's full of people planting locusts. You know, old worldy fruit that people used to make a locust jelly, a locust jam out of, that virtually nobody eats or makes anymore. Maybe Grandma still does. Are there many locusts in your area? Is it more? I mean, it's a Mediterranean and Old English kind of thing. I'm wondering whether our native pigeons have adapted to that. It's really blackbirds and starlings that hoe into them down here.
Not that I notice, but then I'm not. Yeah, it possibly it's not. They're not a plant that I particularly notice commonly around the place.
Yeah, I imagine as we get up into the tropics that the locusts probably aren't prevalent. So
No.
So I thought Sydney and Canberra would probably be the place. Maybe even Hobart. Maybe people have got them in Hobart. I don't know, but I'm not sure we're seeing top knot pigeons in Hobart, even on the best day ever. So regent bowerbirds get into them. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Well, regent bowerbirds are sort of like the northern blackbirds, aren't they? They'll get into anything. Not for not being introduced or feral or anything like that. Just that's kind of the niche that I think the blackbirds are operating in down here. So what was my other question? Oh, Martin, I did want to tell you or ask you, how long will it take me to get to Gladstone if I'm flying into Rocky? Like, is it worth coming down somehow for a day or half a day to head into the? I really want to go to the Botanic Gardens, and I haven't talked to Millie about whether we can make a detour or something. But if someone was willing to take us or something, we might organise that. So hit me up, all right, if you're interested. We'd be talking about Monday next week. So let me know if you're interested. Anyone else in that North Queensland strip going up to Cairns? And we're looking for someone who might want to talk to us and take us up on the Tablelands up at Atherton. We'd make a detour if we could find someone Judy, if you're watching. Yeah. Well, while you're up there, Holly, you've got to contact as many birdos as you can and
Oh gosh, absolutely.
and get into it.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, back to another BirdLife project. What else is happening?
And then Birds in Schools is of course underway. I think there's about somewhere between 40 and 50 schools taking part this term, which is really nice, from all across the country. So that's our kind of standard bits and pieces. We week before, had our first Urban Birds webinar for the year.
Oh, actually, I started watching that, and I haven't had time to watch the whole thing. But very good, your introduction, and you're a very, very, very good host at the start of that, Holly.
Oh,
I must
good,
say.
Thank you. It may deteriorate beyond that. So that went really, really well. Being Zoom, limited number of people can come along, so we're recording them and making sure we share them with everybody. We're going to be doing those once a month for the rest of the year. And so I don't want to give away who the next one is, but it's going to be great. And I'm very excited about the topics that are coming up. We're going to be doing things like bird-friendly gardening. We're going to be hearing from early career researchers. We're going to be talking about art and birds. There's a whole range of really interesting topics coming up for people to join in once a month, or if you miss out, watching the recording anytime that you like.
That sounds like you're doing the bird emergency.
Kind of. Not really. No. I wouldn't want to do that.
Now, what's Martin telling us about a few spots south of Rocky? Oh, well, Martin, feel free to volunteer to take us. I'll let Millie know that too. By the way, Millie might even be watching for all I know. Hi, Millie, if you are. What do you think of that? Yellow chat. That would be a nice one. But
very nice.
I love chats. I love watching even the common chats. They're just
so you
cool.
say common, but white-fronted chats are very, very uncommon in Sydney. So I've only ever seen one of the. Well, I don't even think they're at that site anymore. I think there's only one site in Sydney now that has white-fronted chats. And I did a little bit of research following them around one site many years ago, and they're groovy birds. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, there was a location on the Mornington Peninsula that I used to see them, and I used to see them on the Gippsland Lakes, on one of the really shallow lakes on the shores. Really, really cool to watch. But yeah, they were very common, common in that locality.
I was monitoring a site where there were literally, I think, 5 left individuals that were colour banded. They were pretty special at that location.
So thanks, Martin. You'll need to. Can you message me through YouTube and let me know best way to give you a bell or something, and we can tee it up with Millie? That would be great. Just don't put your number or anything in here. Email maybe, I don't know. That'd be cool. What else did I want to ask you specifically about? Are you a bird bander, Holly?
No. I had my bird banding license during my PhD because I needed it for the fairy wren work I was doing, not because I was banding them, but because I was putting transmitters on them. And then I kind of didn't continue, unfortunately. It's one of those things that I always wished that I had kept going with and had experience with, but I just never had the ability, unfortunately, to keep going and get accredited. So I've done some very minor work before and done some bit of handling, but not anymore, unfortunately.
So to be accredited and to keep it up, does that mean, is it a bit like being a pilot that you have to keep logging hours to be able to, so that you're always in practice?
I'm not sure whether you have to have like banded X number of birds a year or something to sort of hold your license, but it's quite so to start banding, you get what's called a C class license, which means you have to work with someone who has an A class license and they have to have banded, a huge number of birds. And so there is a large target that you have to reach before you're able to go and do that process yourself with sort of your A class license. So it does require a really, amazing mentor or number of mentors, active banding going on in your area, and a huge amount of time to be able to get your numbers up, basically, to get your further license levels. So people who do banding, are so experienced, and it's such an amazing skill that I wish I had. Because it's something that does require a lot of skill, because birds are very delicate, and some are very cranky and don't like being handled either. And of course, stressed very easily. So being able to very quickly and efficiently and safely put a band on a bird and get it out without harm is really, really important.
Is it? And I'm probably asking you something that isn't your specialty, but I'm just wondering if people are interested as birders rather than academics, is it easy for them to volunteer and go through that process to become accredited, or do you really need to be doing it as part of some research?
Look, I think you can volunteer to some projects. You don't I think a lot of people probably come to it as undergraduate or postgraduate researchers. But there are certainly organisations where they need volunteers who are banders who, you don't necessarily have to be an academic to be doing, to get your licence and to help out. So there's certainly different places around that you can sort of join up with. I'm just thinking, I'll send through some
Waiter Studies Group.
People are interested.
Certainly
Waiter Study
Victorian
Group.
Waiter Studies
Absolutely.
Group, and there's a national one. There'll be a state one for every state.
Yeah,
that would be where I would start. I don't think there's quite a similar or an equivalent organisation for bush birds or woodland birds or anything, is there?
No,
I think that's sort of more researchers attached.
Their name's escaping me. Give me a moment and I'm going to look them up. Because there's a group in New South Wales who do a lot of woodland bird banding.
Okay. Now, for those of you on YouTube, we need another, if you've just popped in, first seen and heard, please. Please tell me what your first seen and your first heard bird was this morning. And if you didn't take notice this morning, see if you can remember either day on the weekend. Would love to know, and let us know where you're at.
Australian Bird Study Association.
There we are.
They do a lot of banding.
ABSA on,
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Now, any other bird life projects you want to talk about? I'd like to know, Holly, is there any updates on the red-tailed black cockatoo projects? Like, have you and your backyard bird counts? Have you had any interesting results in the last lot?
So we're about to do our analysis this week, actually, on the autumn surveys. So hold that off for next time.
I thought you would have done that on a weekend. Oh my god!
Oh, I know, right? I know. So we'll have some sort of autumn results coming out in the next couple of weeks, and then in terms of red-tailed black cockatoos, off the top of my head, I can't remember. I will find out for next time. But there are a few things ongoing. So there's Cocky Watch in WA, if people are interested in doing sort of road surveys for carnabies. And there's also the Great Glossy Count coming up in September. So there'll be a lot of promotion coming out for people to join in on those. Red tails, leave it with me.
I'll certainly be talking more about the great glossy count, and I'll try and get one of the glossy celebs on to talk about them.
Great.
That article that was out, or those series of stories that were out a week or two back, Holly, about the clearing of the Carnaby's habitat in Perth, that was just appalling. I mean, I don't know. But did you see the funny story about the doughboys, the lorikeets?
I saw that this morning.
Yeah, that came into one of my news feeds over the weekend. But it just goes to show, I mean, lorikeets are like puppies, aren't they? I mean, they will just eat until they can't move.
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
So if you weren't aware of that, you can check out my Twitter feed at Bird Emergency, and you'll find it. I posted it yesterday. It was a story the ABC ran about some lorikeets that fell into a mixing vat of bread dough and ate themselves stupid until they couldn't move. And of course, dough is sticky, and if it hasn't had all the moisture, all the water put into it, it can expand, even still in your digestive tract. So not a very, very happy, well, it seems like they were all unhurt, but...
it looks like they, from what I can read, all 13 were completely fine.
Yeah,
so it was rainbows and scaly-breasted.
Yeah.
Just
unbelievable.
being doofuses.
Now, let's see. Have you heard anything more about Toondah Harbour, Holly? No. Okay.
There's been no announcement yet.
This Sunday coming?
Yes.
What is it, 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.? I think it's 8 a.m. Down in Cleveland at the shores of Toondah Harbour. The Walk for Toondah is on. So I'll be there with the camera and the microphone and talking to people. With Millie. Millie's speaking at the event.
Excellent.
But if you're in Brisbane, or you can get to Brisbane, come down. People dress up, and there's like a parade, and come and make your add your number to the groundswell to try and just try and let the various ministers for conservation in Queensland and Australia and planning know that you are concerned about it. It was interesting to see that the federal minister has knocked off two gas projects, but oh my God, Beetaloo Basin got the nod in the Northern Territory, which I think the figures were that will add up, just that project alone. I think it was 30% of Australia's allowable carbon emissions in the next 50 years. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Oh, and solidarity to those of you in the Pilliga. Good luck for that, trying to clamp down on that one too. We have these tiny little wins, Holly, but I don't think the big picture's not looking great.
It's still always a fight. Yeah, that's all right. But it looks like the Walk for Toondah starts at 9 till 11. Yeah,
9 till 11. So I guess get down there early.
You can, for sure.
Come and tell me your views, and I'll stick a microphone in front of you, and you can tell me anything you want to say. I'd love to meet anyone who listens to the show. I'd love to meet the fans of Holly. It would be. I'm sure there's more fans of you,
a 6-year-old,
than there are fans of you. Don't tell her, but I've had the design for Bird Nerd done for the Bird Nerd T-shirt. So I'll need to talk to you about getting it to you. Okay, what have we got here, Fiona?
Yes.
Okay, this is the duck shooting duck shooting inquiry. Yeah, thanks, Fiona. I had that on my list to talk about. Yes, today, if you want to add your submission, and there is a what's it called? The Anti-Duck Shooting Coalition. Fiona, you sound like you probably have that link. If you want to pop that in the chat, I will pop it out.
Grant.
Yeah, there's an easy one. Holly's just found it for me. Good. Yeah.
And there's also
it's Act for Birds. Cool. Okay.
Yep, Act for Birds.
Okay.
So Fiona's right.
Let's
Victoria
share that.
closes today.
Yeah, let's share that page so that people can see it. The Act for Birds page.
And then South Australia closes on the 19th. So you can comment from South Australia too.
Okay, let's pop that up. So, and let me pop this into. Did you pop it into the normal chat, Holly? No, I'll grab it. Sorry, everyone, for I have to put it in here, don't I? I have to create a banner on the fly. Here we go. Add banner. There we are. There we are. That's it. Yeah, so do definitely add your voice to it. It was appalling, some of the things I've seen in the reports.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
I really hope that the government this time will just rule it out. I can't see any reason for it. I think the economic arguments for supporting it have just been continuously blown out. That
yep.
There was a news footage. I think it was a fortnight ago about a deer that was running through the suburbs of Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
It smashed through a glass pool fence.
Oh, fence.
And of course, who did they go to for comment? They went to some shooters. Now, why have deer not been eradicated from the forests and woodlands of southeastern Australia? Shooters. They say they need something to shoot. Piss off. And why was a massive effort not taken to remove wild pigs from all sorts of habitats? Shooters. I mean, for crying out loud, the damage that they do is it's just bonkers.
I've seen the deer population in the Illawarra has just absolutely skyrocketed.
Yeah.
To the point where it's absolutely out of control now. They've missed the boat on being able to manage that population.
And then they have to. Management isn't really possible. Eradication has to happen, and if they want to eradicate them, it takes so much, because we know how little resources get given to conservation and environmental management. It just takes it away from all the other programs. But at the same time,
I can't see eradication is even possible now. I think it's gone.
But if they're damaging endangered plant communities, and you're serious about preserving those endangered plant communities, you must eradicate them.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like this. Still waiting on the New South Wales government to proclaim the Great Koala National Park. So get on with it. We're still waiting for the state government of New South Wales to remove horses from the high country in the Kosciuszko National Park. Extremely fragile vegetation community there, the alpine meadows and the bogs and whatnot. Once they've been disturbed, weed invasion comes in, and then those communities are irrecoverably changed forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And then we haven't seen the new proposed legislation for endangered species and biodiversity. You haven't heard any whispers, Holly, in the halls of the Birdlife Emporium of when that's likely to hit Parliament?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Well, maybe after the budget. I mean, the budget's obviously the most important. Let's see. What's Naomi got here? Do you actually think eradication? Do you actually think eradication of any of these invasive introduced species is possible? Absolutely, I do. But do I think the resources will be allocated that are required to eradicate them? No, I don't.
Yeah.
So it's certainly possible, but it's not going to be something that can be done.
Not probable.
Yeah. And Martin's made the call. It's very difficult to cull deer once they get into rough country. Yeah, it is difficult, but it is possible too. And you can do things like trap them. You can poison them en masse. You can do a whole lot of things that people don't like to talk about and don't like to do. But it's possible, but it involves shitloads of money. Yeah. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Do you see many rabbits around your place, Holly?
Yeah, we get rabbits. Yeah, for sure. Probably not huge numbers. You probably get once you get a bit more rural. But there's certainly wild bunnies around through the Illawarra for sure. Lots of foxes too. Lots of foxes.
But you can remember the days when if you drove anywhere at night, every 10 metres on the side of a road in the country, in the rural areas, you would see a rabbit. Like you could drive 50 kilometres and see thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of rabbits.
Yeah.
Now you see handfuls of rabbits. So and that was by accident too, wasn't it? They were never. That was never supposed to be released en masse, but they've done it. New Zealand has done it on all sorts of islands. It's been done on Macquarie. It takes 10, 15 years of dedicated work.
Yeah,
it involves a lot of money, and it can be done. But you've got to want to do it. All right, Holly. If you were let's have a bit of fun now. If you were about to arrive in Rockhampton and on your way on a road trip to Cairns and across to Mount Isa, Tennant Creek, and up to Darwin, what would be? Give me a list of what you would be putting on your target list.
Oh God!
Apart from deers.
As in the good targets or the bad targets?
Yeah. Desirable bird watching targets.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I've already put top knot pigeon on there, and.
What would I want to say? Let me have a look at a bit of a bird list that I don't see very often.
You're cheating, are you? All right.
Yeah, I am. I want to say.
Those of you in the riot squad there in the peanut gallery, give me some ideas to add to my target list.
I'd like to see a black-throated finch.
Oh well, are there any? Do they still exist?
Probably not.
Actually, I must ask April. I must ask.
Yeah.
I must ask for a location.
In terms of commonish birds, I always like when I head north and I see sunbirds.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And they're pretty easy to spot. What else would I like to see?
Thanks for popping in, Fiona.
Similarly, bee eaters are always nice.
Enjoy your work. Yeah, now bee eaters, of course, seasonal, depending
Hmm.
on where we are. I want to see a forest kingfisher.
Nice. Um,
Blue-winged
yeah,
kookaburras as well,
bustards.
up there. A bustard.
Bustards.
I would love
Yeah.
to see a bustard.
Yeah.
I, I wonder if there's. I wonder how many of them are actually left.
Mm.
Um, love to see a bustard. I'd love to see any of the. Varied lorikeet is on my
Oh,
list
okay.
too.
Nice. Yep.
Yep. Fig parrot too, but any bowerbird, I'll be happy with any
Yeah,
bowerbird that
true.
I can spy.
Yep.
Any of the thickheads or monarchs from up north. Frankly,
Grass
I'll
owl
be
would be
happy.
nice.
Oh, well, I'll be happy with anything. I can't wait for the mornings to be able to do first seen and heard and
Yes.
be absolutely stumped with what I'm hearing. Um, okay, David's put in Brolga or Jabiru. Yeah, I would like to. Are we go, Holly, how come we stopped calling the black-necked stork a Jabiru?
I can't remember. I did research this once, and I can't remember what the change was.
Was it just because it was standardised because it's not just an Australian bird?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And we're using the I got there first rule in nomenclature.
There
Or
was a reason. I can't remember what it was. That's terrible. of me.
nomenclature. Well, let me look it up.
Mm.
I'll ask Dr. Google. Why did we stop calling the
It was named after another bird had a claim to the name.
of Jabiru?
Let me work out a good source to that, actually.
Yeah. If we both do it, we'll probably one of us will get a good answer.
Yeah.
Here we go. The Courier Mail. Why this Aussie stork species had to change its name. Had
Which
to
is
be
why I was checking
renamed
another
because
source. I saw that.
a bird in Central and South America had already had the name. Now, the Courier Mail, I am not subscribing to you to read that story, but that's why. There was already an American bird with the same... Martin's already got me the kingfishers in. He already knows where to find them. Fantastic. What, Martin? What's the coolest kingfisher that you've got up there? So when he's got both those kingfishers, I think he's telling me blue-winged kookaburra, which I used to love hearing them in the morning. They sound like total maniacs. And the forest kingfisher. I don't think. And little kingfisher's one that I've always dipped out on too. That's one of those birds that often someone goes, "Oh yeah, there was one on the creek last week." Yeah. So, have you got the little kingfisher on your list? Have you ever ticked that one off?
No, I haven't.
No.
But yeah, I'm so glad this happens to somebody else because that is the story of my life too. I always just miss Regent Honeyeater. What was it? A rainbow pitter?
Oh, rainbow
noisy pitter.
Noisy pitter. David. Now, David Robert, who I introduced you to earlier on, he was going off pitter spotting. David, you're here, so let us know, where are you going pitter spotting? Yeah. I suppose I should be looking for pitters up north too, shouldn't I? I don't know. I haven't. I've resisted looking up in any of the books and writing a list because I don't know what a day in the life of being Millie's ground crew looks like yet, And that's what I'm going for, to be Millie's ground crew. So
That's the
it's
priority.
not my adventure, it's Millie's adventure that I'm just hopefully going to be able to add some extra bits in along the way. Okay, so Dorrigo is where Robert's going. Been to Dorrigo, Holly?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. What's Naomi told us? I'd like to see a dusky Mizamela. God, why did we make that one so hard? Martin's got some pics of forest kingfisher. Okay, I must admit I haven't seen those. David's hardcore. He's been to Kakadu and seen a rainbow pitter up there. Fantastic. Yeah. Now, hopefully, Millie and I don't know how much bird watching Millie's done in the far north, but I really hope we can catch up with Dr. Bird, Amanda, up there. I'm sure we will. And I hope we have time to maybe do some top end birding. Seems like if you've gone all that way, you'd want to put a few days aside to
Absolutely.
To go somewhere. So
It'd be rude not to.
yeah, I'll be reaching out to anyone I possibly can to get some hints. Let's see, Holly. What else? Well, let's look at the very top end. Hooded parrot, golden-shouldered parrot. I think the hooded parrot we're probably more likely to be in that region. I want to see any of the finches that are only up there.
Yeah, nice.
We're not going far enough north, I don't think, in Queensland to see the parrot finches. What's Naomi telling us? Naomi wishes she'd looked for more birds, but was chained to a tree when you went to. Oh, tell us more, Naomi.
There's a story.
Yeah,
there is
tell
a
us more
story
about
there,
that
Naomi.
story. Just picking up on that, Holly. How about how the laws have been changed in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland to make it really difficult to protest, and that there's a discretion being exercised about the kind of protests that are seen as dangerous and those that aren't. Red-backed fairy wrens, yeah. Actually, I'm really excited to see any different fairy wrens
Up north, purple crown
on the trip, and any grass wrens that we might encounter. Cassowary, yes. Yeah. I'm sure. I've got to have a sort of a debrief with Millie, or a briefing session, I guess, about how that coastal strip is going to be done. I mean, if we're in the Daintree, we've got to go looking for things in the Daintree. I'm really excited to see all the honey eaters as we progress north, because the dominant honey eaters in all the different habitats are really interesting. Often overlooked because they're just brown or green kind of birds, but I'm really interested to check them out. What else am I interested in doing? I'm really interested to check out all the different vegetation communities again too. Oh yes, Gordian finch, of course. Of course. Any finches, longtails, crimsons, any of the finches. I love finches. Also, button quails, true quails.
What about any of the pigeons? Partridge pigeon?
Any of the pigeons. Partridge pigeon, flock pigeon, spinifex pigeon.
So exciting.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see because I'll be driving for a lot of it, towing Millie's trailer, I guess. Really interested to see what the different roadside birds are that you commonly see. So, yeah, should be should be eye opening. Cassowary, that would be cool.
Lots of wedgies, lots of
close.
You're going to see some great birds of prey.
Yeah,
Stretches of road.
Plenty of raptors, and also up overhead, no doubt. Yeah. Oh, and got myself a couple of headlamps.
Cool.
So that have one pointing up and one pointing sort of straight ahead, so we can and different intensities of light, so can try and find a few, some nightjars and some frogmouths. It's just
I'm
wild.
jealous.
Oh, it's just wild. Yeah. Well, so long since I've been out doing any of this.
That's so good.
Yeah. Here's Naomi's story. Okay. When I was younger and fitter, I protested the uranium mine up at Ranger, the uranium mining. Joined a younger Bob Brown and tied up to trees that would have to be knocked down to get to the mine, to get the mining equipment in. It was wild, wet, lots of leeches. Oh yeah, I forgot. So leeches. I've got to get used to them. That means I'm probably going to have to get some. I'm going to have to get a lighter or something, or carry salt in my pocket. A little bag of salt is the best way to get rid of them. Got arrested, but no conviction recorded. Well done. What were you going to say, Holly?
Oh, sorry, that was a total side. My mind today. I got told a really good tip for leeches the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but it was something different. It wasn't your standard salt. It was something else, and I need to think about what it was.
Okay.
But it was handy.
Let me know. Message me if you remember it, because
I will.
I decided not to go and buy the gators and all that I didn't have last time I was up north. And I decided, no, I think I can do without them, but maybe I can't. Maybe when we arrive in Brizzy, I might buy a pair there. I don't know. I went to Aussie Disposals the other day, Holly, and went to look at a few things that I was looking at buying. Something I could buy for $4 in Kmart was $35 in Aussie Disposals. So Kmart's a good spot to buy, and Big W for buying camping gear, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Naomi's got another leeches tip.
Tiger balm.
They don't like tiger balm. Okay. Well, I did purchase some tiger balm. I've held off buying the insect repellent that I need to get. I used to get ammo. Ammo is what I used to get, but I don't find it so often. David's off to find pitters. Good on you, David. Good luck finding pitters. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can catch all the updates. 22nd, Holly, does that look like a good day for you? We might need to coordinate on the time. I'll have to consult with Millie, but 22nd would be the next day that we're sort of logged in.
There's nothing outside my usual booked in for the 22nd or the 30th or the 29th. So.
Good. Martin heard some boo books.
Nice.
That's very good. And Naomi's wishing good luck, I think, to David. So, yes, we all wish you luck finding a pitter or two or three or a dozen. Today David, good luck. And nice to meet you too, David. Thanks for doing your
Yes,
your
lovely.
Instagram first seen and heard. I really like that. All David did to let me know that it was happening was he sent me a message and included his little bit of video. So you can do that on Instagram, if you're on Instagram, at The Bird Emergency. You can find all the socials at thebirdemergency.com/live. While we're plugging websites, Holly, actforbirds.org is where all of the BirdLife supported
Advocacy
actions,
campaigns are.
Yep,
Yeah,
campaigns
that's right.
are. BIB TV on YouTube is the Birds in
BIBY
Backyard.
TV.
Oh, Birds in Backyard.
I think so. It should be.
Is it? Why is there a Y? Oh,
Birds in Backyards
because
has always been called
backyards
BB,
is two
Birds in
words.
Backyards.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Even though we write it as one word, it's always
Yeah.
just been. Yeah.
Okay, so BIBBY TV on YouTube for the new Birds in Backyards postings. What else? Oh, there we go. Let me copy that and turn that into something and make that easier for people in the future. So, in the future, when you're watching this video, go there. All right, go there. Let's see. Have you noticed any really interesting bird sightings on anyone else's socials, Holly?
Oh, I see the other day. I'm going to be scrolling through my socials now.
Now, here's a good question.
Okay.
A night bird call question. A night bird that sounded
Shutting
like a
door.
shutting door. Now, do you mean like a door closing and that little that you get when doors close tightly, or a squeaky hinge, or like a clap? What? Give us a bit more info, Naomi, and we'll see if someone can tell us. Also, the other question that I always like to ask when people are telling me about bird calls, when you heard it, were you able to tell with your two ears and your directional hearing, was it up high, down low? Like, was it up in a tree, or was it down shrub level, ground level? Give us an idea of that. Are you going shutting door bird call into Google?
I'm searching up. I'm looking at my nocturnal bird calls and just trying to work out.
I mean, it's not necessarily a nocturnal bird. It might just be
No.
a bird that sometimes calls at night, like a banging,
Might not even be a
hard
bird.
banging door. That's true. That's true.
Could be a frog.
That's true.
Hard
Or it could be somebody banging a door. Funnily enough.
True. Doesn't sound. None of the owls sort of have that bang. I'm just trying to think of what Naomi would see around her place, because it'd be barn owls, and it's not a barn owl call. It would be, you might get barking owls, and they're certainly not that call.
But it might be a juvenile or immature bird,
Yeah,
which
okay.
might have a call that. Okay, it was in the state forest.
State forest.
No houses. Okay, so it wasn't an annoying
Okay.
neighbour. Imagine if one of your neighbours, Holly, knew that you were a total bird nerd, and then they went to Zeno Canto and recorded South American or African bird calls,
Yeah.
and then played them during the night to
Just to mess with
torment
me.
you.
Yep. Just to mess with me.
Don't do that, by the way, people.
Please don't do that to
Don't
me.
do that. Um,
So we're sort of
yeah.
inland from Central Coast, southwest of Newcastle. So, I mean, you'll get a range of owls there. You'd get barking, you'd get powerful, of course. It's definitely not a powerful owl. Get boo-books. Sooties sound like a bomb dropping, so it's not sooties. And the nightjars seem too high pitched for me.
Yeah, and
in their call.
I mean, it doesn't. That's why I wondered whether it could be some other bush bird that is just calling at night.
Yeah.
Like the blackbird goes all night here. Now, obviously, not blackbirds, but there are other birds that will call at night, especially if they're disturbed in some way.
Yeah.
I
Can't think of anything that sounds like a door slam,
No.
though.
But is it like to me, a slamming door and a banging door are slightly different. A banging door is sort of like a clap, like if you have like a flywire door that knocks in the wind.
But I think Naomi said it was quite a deep noise.
Could you hear my little raven? Did you hear that just a minute ago? Come through. He's still upset out there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, sounded high in a tree.
Okay. It could have been a tree frog though, up there in a tree. And geckos make weird noises too.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, geckos make all sorts of unusual noises. Okay. Do we have an expert in the audience of who is an expert on hard banging door noises in the forest from up high in a tree? Doesn't immediately sound like anything that I know.
No, it's not. It'll be I'll ask a couple of birders I know up around that way and see if it's ringing any bells for them.
No, it doesn't say owl at night jar. It certainly doesn't say night jar. Unless it was. Oh, Naomi, I'll try to upload on Instagram. Naomi, you're not on Twitter, are you? Because you could put it in a message to me on Instagram now, and we'll do what I just did with David, and we'll play it. So if you upload it to Instagram, tag me, or put it in a message to me, and we'll play it. If you put it in a message to me, at least I'll be able to find it quickly, and we'll do that. Seen anything cool lately, Holly? Like, have you been out birding at all in the last couple of weeks?
Not in the last couple of weeks, no. My white-headed pigeons were my nice sort of sighting from last week. My day of the white-headed pigeon.
Are you getting any honey eaters moving at this time of year?
I haven't seen any yet. There should be. So I know Naomi said she was seeing yellow-faced honey eaters, and so that's sort of indicating that migration is probably underway through Sydney. I haven't seen any yet. I would occasionally get them popping through over my place. Depends whether they are going sort of along the coast or they're going up through the mountains each year as to how commonly I see them, but I haven't seen any yet. I may have just missed them because I haven't been outside checking particularly well.
Do you get cuckoo shrikes moving through your area as well?
Look, they're pretty resident year round.
Okay.
I get cuckoo shrikes most of the year.
You don't get the movement.
No, not that I notice. I sort of always see my sort of standard resident few that are around the suburb. They're one of those birds, I don't think people notice them really very often, but relatively, I mean, at least in the Illawarra, they're pretty common. They just go unnoticed, I think.
Oh, I wanted to also mention Peter Starr on Instagram has also been sending me pictures. He's from Star Landscapes, and he's been sending me pictures and talking about how his region is changing because it's had a couple of years without drought conditions in their area, and he's been telling me that he's now doing sort of his own first seen and heard because I started doing it, so that's great. I'm really happy that people are noticing, and he's been noticing what's been going on with the changes in the mornings as a result of having different climactic or weather patterns for that time of the year. Hello, Vicky. Nice to see you. Yellow-faced honey eaters all year in the Hawkesbury.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I used to get them in the summertime in Gippsland, but I haven't seen one for a long time in Melbourne. I don't know how often they turn up in different parts of certainly the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. I know when I was a kid, I always used to see them on all the distribution maps that they came into Melbourne, but I never saw them in Melbourne or on the Mornington Peninsula, but I did see them in Gippsland at the same kind of latitude. Yeah, the same kind of latitude, but several hundred kilometres east of Melbourne. Okay, I'm not seeing anything coming up into my messages. What's I don't think Naomi and I are buddies on. Yeah, I'm not finding Naomi on. If you type Naomi into Instagram, there's some very interesting ones, but I'm sure they're not you. Naomi Campbell, I'm sure that's not you. I'm sure most of these pictures are not you. I haven't seen you wearing a mask around. Here we go. But I did find Naomi because it's not. Here we are. I better follow Naomi. She's following me, so there we go. But nice photos too, by the way, Naomi. But it got the brown cuckoo dove, Azure kingfisher. That's a nice one in there. That unidentified night bird that we did a few weeks back, or dusk bird. Okay. Naomi's having computer stuff. I know, it's like the way it always goes. Okay,
we'll sort it at some stage.
Yeah, and just tag me, Naomi, when you do it, and I'll whack it out to the Twitter, and someone will have an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Holly, I don't really have a whole lot more to say. I'm just too excited about.
You've got plans to make, my friend.
Yeah, but I still do feel super guilty about flying. I really do. But I think I thought of something I could do to assuage my guilt. When I return, I reckon I might get a whole heap of seeds of different grasses and some decorative eucalypts, some banksias, some hakeas and whatnot. And I think I'll grow a whole lot of seedlings, and then I'll just offer them to people as
Nice.
long as they say they will plant them in their yard. Or maybe I'll donate a kilo of seed or something to a re-veg
That
of
sounds really great,
mixed
Grant.
seed to a re-veg group, or maybe to Koala Clancy or something like that. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea. Why don't I grow a couple of 100 or 1,000 eucalypt food trees and give them to Koala Clancy? That could be a good idea.
That's really nice.
Well, it
Yeah,
might.
I mean, I've got some Banksias that I'm looking at. My Banksias have a seeding. I've got a nice little collection. So I'm about to pop them into some tube stock and give them away to anybody who would like.
Yeah, I think that's always
Banksias.
really
Yeah.
really great to do if you've got the wherewithal. The other day I saw these people, neighbours, who I don't actually know, but I do know they live down around the corner, down the street, around the corner. Two middle-aged ladies. I think it was mum and daughter, but older lady and middle-aged lady. And they'd been scavenging what someone had left out on the footpaths, and they had about 10 big tubs, big plastic pot tubs. I thought, wish I saw them first, because they're so useful. So
Yeah,
useful.
absolutely.
Actually, if you're in Melbourne and you've got any tubes, square tubes that you have used for at some stage and now you have no use for them, let me know. I would love, and actually I'll pay the postage if you're in some other part of the country and you've got tubes, not one or two, but if you've got 50, 100, 200, whatever, sitting in the shed that you don't know what to do, let me know and you can post them to me and I will cover the cost of the postage.
Oh,
Now,
Naomi.
okay, Waratahs, smoke water. There's a treatment for Waratahs that you can get reliable. Hit me up, Naomi. I'll give you my resources for that. That they can be tricky, but there is a couple of tricks to get the Waratahs to go. Waratahs are also really easy to grow from cutting too, by the way. So, yeah. All right, Holly. What final Holly message?
Go out and do some planting. Get some tube stock. Put some plants in the ground.
And go out and do some birding as well.
And count some birds.
Yeah. Oh,
Always.
the other thing I need to tell people too.
Oh, okay.
Ricky and I were going to be doing the deep dive last week, but Ricky likes to go into things in such detail and prepare that it's going to be a monthly thing. So I think the next bird watching deep dive will be on the 19th. Now that happens to be the day that I arrive in Brisbane, so there'll be some mucking around with the day and time. It may well be that we'll bump it a week. So just keep an eye on thebirdemergency.com/live. You should be bookmarking that page because that's where I'm going to keep all the info up. And on my socials, I will let you know the Substack. What I'm going to do, Holly, I don't know if I mentioned this to you last time we talked. I'm going to go back and each couple of days, I'm going to go back and start reposting on the Substack the oldest bird emergency episodes so that people can catch up with Steph and Amanda and Rob Davies and everyone. Kat Young, Tegan's first appearance on the show. So we'll go back and do that, and then I'm going to start posting my favourites, and it just means that people who don't do podcasts can find them back from the time before we were doing live YouTube interviews. So there's that whole sort of back catalogue there, And while I'm away, I suppose it depends how good the internet is, and I want to try and save because you're limited for how much you get when you're doing mobile. I'll be updating the Substack probably more than the birdemergency.com website, unless it becomes really fast, unless it is really fast and it's really easy. But because I'm going to be on the move, I won't be able to sit and let things do their thing for 2 and 3 hours, which is what happens when you're doing video stuff. So, so all the socials, the Bird Emergency podcast is where you'll find Facebook. The Bird Emergency, I think, is just the Bird Emergency on YouTube. But all the links are at thebirdemergency.com/live. And I haven't created the link for the Substack, but it will be thebirdemergency.com/Substack will take you to that. Everywhere that I've got members, buy me a coffee. I'll be updating that as well, but I really want to try and direct everyone to the free stuff on the Substack, and there'll be extras for the paid stuff. Oh God, I feel like I'm shilling. But remember, when you paid stuff, the paid stuff. Thank you to those members too. What did I buy? Oh, I bought a new rain jacket. That was cool. So that came out of that money. And what else? I guess you're going to be subsidising the next bit of camera gear. Oh, I bought a new microphone for the camera, so that was good. And depending on how far things will go, I'm going to get little portable microphones so that Millie and I can sort of do like a interview show and we're sitting on a log around the campfire or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Millie wants to do. I don't know. I don't want to promise anything that she might not want to do. Maybe we'll get Costa in to talk about something. I don't know. It's going to be so fun not being at my desk.
It's going to be fun. There's so many possibilities, Grant. It's really exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And just a change of scenery. Change of scenery is always good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really looking forward to that. Alan Briggs in Rocky.
Yeah, Alan is amazing. Okay. Lovely man.
We must touch base. I'll probably have to send him an email today then, that means. Would be cool. Anything you want us to... Do you want us to write a particular placard at the Walk for Toondah protest?
Yeah, I will think on what I need you to represent me by. Something very angry.
Yeah. Holly says, get stuffed. Holly says, get stuffed. Yeah. So 2 weeks' time, Holly, hopefully we'll be able to
2 weeks. Yeah.
Catch up at the same time. I'll have to see what my boss for the next little while tells me, and that'll be good.
Yes, do what you're told, and enjoy the experience.
Oh, it's going to be wild. I mean, we'll be now with social media and everything the way it is. I mean, we'll be in touch all the time. I'll be probably going, oh, I just went to a dodgy pie shop. Although I won't be going to any pie shops. I
was going to say, are you going to rank some sort of food all the way around?
No. Well, Millie and I are both vegos basically now. I'm not a vego for any, like I didn't decide. I just am. So I think I'll be cooking all my favourite lentil curries and whatnot, and we're both big tofu fans. So, but I'm guessing tofu is not going to be that easy to get.
I don't know.
I'm not sure there'll be a lot of tofu at Normanton or even at Tennant Creek or Mount Isa.
You could be surprised.
Well, hopefully we are very surprised, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of lentils, but I'm going to stock up. I'm going to take lentils with me on the plane to Brizzy and Rocky, just in case that they're not as available as they they are, especially all the different colours and all the different varieties.
Yeah.
And I'll also take my favourite curry bases so that we don't just get completely stuck on our first bit, because there'd be nothing worse than just having
Oh, no.
boiled lentils with a couple of spices with them. Oh, chili! It's chili lentils again today. No, I can't get excited by that. But I do imagine that some of the vegetables will be either difficult to get or exorbitantly expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll
Absolutely.
be another, because it's years since I've been. It's so far up the top of since I've been up in Northern Australia. G'day, Stormy. How are you, mate?
Hi.
Stormy, before we check out, because we're right near the end, what was your first seen and heard this morning, Stormy? That's the price of admission today. And if you've seen a good bird lately. Anyone in the Birdlife offices, Holly, told an amazing bird story in the last little while? Deb. Deb went on her bird watching holiday and had her mind blown at Werribee treatment plant. So that was
good.
So
Excellent.
that was good.
What have I seen? What have people been talking about?
Oh, all right. Hewenden, the vegetarian pizza at Hewenden was good. Okay. Cool. I don't plan to be going to Alice on this trip unless, I still don't know what I'm going to do once I get to Brisbane, or not Brisbane, Darwin, and I don't know. I'm all up for going on the next leg with Millie as well, depending on what's organised. So maybe right up there. I mean, I'm dying to get to Wyndham. I really want to see Wyndham. So who knows? Stormy, we're only hanging on now for your first seen and heard. Okay.
I do have one. So a staff member had a rose crown fruit dove. She's actually in my region. A glass strike. Last week.
Oh, did you post that, or did somebody post that on? I did see a rose crown fruit pigeon post from someone. And,
interesting.
Yeah, so maybe it's quite common.
It could be.
Know.
So, certainly not common around us, but there might be some sort of moving juveniles and things around, I think. Thankfully, it was okay. It wasn't a fatality, which is very good.
Although you do know what all the bird strike experts that I've interviewed have said, Holly?
What?
Most of the birds that recover in your hand and fly away,
fly
away and die.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's why the losses are so high. Stormy, noisy miner, and common miner first seen and heard, but had red rumps in the park yesterday. Oh, actually, yes. Stormy, thanks for jogging my mind. The red rump pair that I see near me have just started to. There's no. The family is all gone, so it's back to just the pair.
Okay.
And they've been, I don't know, just doing little pairy things, sitting right next to each other, pruning, moving around what I guess is the edge of their sort of territory. I wish I could find where they nest, but it's within this little area. But I think they're getting ready to engage in the nuptials. Now, would that be early, do you think, Holly?
It feels early. Yes. It does feel very early.
Yeah, but in this topsy-turvy world, nothing surprises me anymore. So,
yeah.
There we go. And thanks, Martin, for that telling me, jogging my memory to get in touch with Alan. And, and Martin, let me know how to give you a call. So, I really want to make time to go to the... While I'm away, Holly, I'm going to take special notice of what the streets look like.
Yep.
So the street plantings, and to try
Yeah.
and take notice of what birds are using as I go
Yep.
through all the towns. So I want to keep my focus on what people in town are seeing, what the urban birds are, and what maybe are the factors that that are promoting those birds. If not, oh look, we're getting all the comments in. 3 males and 1 female of the red rumps. Well, I wonder whether that's some of the offspring that have just molted into new adult plumage that might be there. Little story from Martin. Okay, here's the little story. It was in the state forest with a satin bowerbird calling behind where I was sitting for quite a while, very close. Then I saw one as I packed up. Very good.
Nice.
Satin bowerbirds used to be something that were not infrequently seen in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne,
Okay.
but I don't see
Yep.
many reports of them anymore. Healesville, Lilydale, places like that, you would get reports from them. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing we'll see satin bowerbirds if we're in any foresty areas, if we get into
Too far
some...
north?
Oh, I don't think so. I'm just going to get me... I'll get me book out too.
Me too.
So that was Martin's first time.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I reckon they're found right up that.
Yeah,
that
you're
northern fringe.
right. Right on the coast, there's one of the subspecies just in a strip up north.
So, scrub robins. I also want to see a scrub robin, and I want to see a log runners. But I just don't know how much time we're going to have for birding. So, Martin, that was a lifer for Martin, the satin bowerbird. Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Lovely.
I also, when we go to Townsville, I want to go. I think I've told the story before. I did my 3 months working that you had to do before you could graduate from Burnley in Townsville at the Parmetum. So I really want to go and see what the Parmetum looks like nowadays. Stormy saw a satin bowerbird, a female, about a month ago. Stormy, was it you who posted post their veggie patch, and that the satin bowerbirds make a big mess of the veggie patch? Look, everyone's got stories coming in now, Holly.
Yeah.
Naomi's went to some land that has been protected into perpetuity, so it's got a covenant on it.
Awesome.
And it was amazing. They'd planted some and done burn-offs. Saw a wedge-tail eagle, first for the year, 3 magpies. Lovely, but a bit cold and wet. Yes, it's certainly getting chilly at the moment in this part of town. Have you got the rain at the moment at your place, Holly? Is it raining there?
No, we've got sunny. I think we got a bit of rain overnight, but it's been very, very sunny today. Just very, very chilly.
Yeah, very chilly, clear skies. It's chilly here. Stormy's just let me know that it's not him who's been posting the pictures that I've been seeing of the satin bowerbirds tearing up somebody's veggie patch. Cool. Okay, we've definitely hit the end now. I just want to see, is anyone we have got someone from Twitch. Hello, Twitch. No one from Twitch has interacted today, so
Staying anonymous today.
Twitch person, tell us your first heard and first seen bird for the last morning. The Twitchers are often in the other hemisphere, Holly, so they might be telling us about. Oh, Baltimore Oriole! I saw someone was very excited for their first Baltimore Oriole of the year. Oh, International or Global Migratory Bird Day is coming up this weekend. So again, that's another thing to be looking out for. Not as big deal here in Australia as it is in the in America and Europe, but bear that in mind that Millie's flight is all about migratory birds. Her whole project
Yes.
is all about migratory shorebirds. So
There's probably
do
some
bear in
local
mind.
events happening around the place.
Yeah, if I see any local ones in Australia, I'll promote them on the socials.
Sure.
I'm not aware of any, but I'm going to have a bit of a whinge, Holly. Do you know nobody sends me stuff of what's going on? I'm not on
Okay.
I'm not on anybody's sort of when they circulate stuff to people. I'm not getting any of it. So unless I'm actively out finding it, I miss so much. So if you're a PR person for any of this stuff, it's really difficult to send it to grant@thebirdemergency.com. And then I might talk about it. And if you tell me early enough, I'll talk to you about it and promote it. It's just
Nice. Yeah.
I would have thought I would be a logical person to be on your PR distribution list. Okay, large storm up in the Hawkesbury or Parramatta. What am I saying? Not the Hawkesbury, up at but that is the Hawkesbury River, isn't it? Parramatta?
Parramatta River.
Parramatta River.
Yep.
That's how well I know Sydney, folks. The Sydney region. I'm hopeless. I've totally forgotten, but it's just back beyond
just,
Parramatta.
Hawkesbury's just north.
Further north. Yeah.
Just above.
Have you got that sandstone, Stormy, at your place, or have you got granite in the escarpments, or are you got the Sydney sandstone? Because that's sort of in the Hawkesbury region. What have you got when your rocks and escarpment around your place, Holly?
We're sandstone mostly.
So sandstone as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So which shrike thrush do you get at your place? Is it just the grey shrike thrush?
Just the greys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not at my place, but yes. In the area.
Yeah, in the area. Do you hear them when you're out at the park or whatnot?
No, I don't get them very urban. They're much more in sort of the escarpment bush than coming into sort of the more urban parklands.
They used to be all over the place in Melbourne. I wonder if they still are. Oh, Martin's just seen a mangrove heron. He's a Pacific heron, sorry, and sent that to me. Okay, thank you for that. Nice. Very good. And Stormy's telling me that he's got the river flats, which is why he probably had the grassbird up there. Okay, cool. Well, there we go, Holly. We had nothing to say, and then all of a sudden, as always happens, in comes a flood of fun observations and everything. Of course, if you've got something interesting that you've seen, birdie stuff, hit me up on your social of choice, or grant@thebirdemergency.com on the email, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. See you Twitter, see you Twitch, see you YouTube, see you Facebook, see you Holly.
Bye.
This has been the Bird Emergency. Don't forget, follow Holly on the Twitter at
Urban Birds Oz, the Urban Bird account, and at Backyard Birdo.
Backyard Birdo. Yeah, cool. And final word goes to Stormy. Bye.
Safe travels, Grant. Bye.
Thanks, Holly. See you, everyone.